Breakout Shot, Chapter 10, Jackpot. Keith was driving with Darby in the passenger seat, and Billy laid out across the back seat, cigarette lit, and the smoke rising and lifting out across the edge of the open window. Gone, the radio a low voice pacing out of the fading rhythm. The road going along flat all morning, and the sun then overhead as they drove through winding towns of box-brown buildings, rectangular bar and grill and gas stations, fast food joints, cars and houses, a distant shoreline then dipping into valleys and rising with mega cities on the horizon, train yards and farmland and great reaching fields. Darby driving now, the few clouds so high, and the setting sun down and along the handle, with red and yellow flats stretching out yonder, now cast in endless shadow. Then it was nightfall. The sparse border town light of Jackpot was in the distance, the star-filled sky over a mountain range to the south. Then driving down into the streets of Jackpot, lined with incandescent light, red and white, casino and motel and cheap gas, and the pallor of the dusty cement cast in white streetlight. Darby pulled over into the motel parking lot and shut off the car. Then, glad to be out of the car, all of them, though solemn nonetheless, moving now in rigid silence, death with his cloak over them, the gloomy advent of murder hanging overhead. Mistakes were made, said Keith. Shit happens. He lit a cigarette and exhaled the smoke into the cold air. Dead men on a journey out to the desert, said Billy. Darby was silent. Wonder how long it will take them to find us, said Keith. Months, weeks. Not long, said Billy. Had to fucking kill that guy. Hope it was worth it. I had to do it, said Darby. It was serendipitous. Awfully fancy word to get killed over, said Billy. You'd do the same. George is going to find us and kill us in the desert, torture us until dawn. One last horrible night on earth. Our corpses will feed the carrion in the morning. Pick your bones clean. Nothing but clean white by midday. Keith turned away now and walked into the wind, holding his cigarette low, the wind pulling across the cherry, a red glow. Keith held it there and let it burn away. Maybe no one will piece it together, said Darby. They will, said Keith. George, Tong, one of them will connect you to the killing and find us. Find your brother. Two obsessive maniac psychopaths who can't stand when someone gets one over on them, looking for us. And we came running right to the perfect place to dump the bodies of some deadbeat gamblers, said Billy. Then they find us, said Darby. Then they kill us, said Billy. It won't matter to me. I'll be dead. I'll be satisfied with what I've done for a moment beforehand, though. Darby looked off down the dark parking lot to the road. More than most get, said Keith. Well, all right. Glad we have something to die for now, said Billy. I need a drink. They went down the street along the main drag and into a low-ceiling bar, lit up in half-glow blue and neon, and faces turning for a moment, then indifferent back to drinks and smoking and chatter, the trio finding space along the bar rail, ordering and drinking, music through the years rolling out of the jukebox, across and through the din, the room all shadows and light, and everyone with a dead-eyed gleam. How much farther is your brother's place? 100 miles or so. Why don't we just drive in tonight? Too late, too dark out there. Have to come in the light of the day. He knows we're on our way, I hope. He knows. Keith went down the bar and leaned in and asked the bartender her name. Candy, she said. That's funny, I know another Candy, deals cards. You don't say. Heading to Vegas? Yes, ma'am. Stopping in to pay us a little visit? Hoping to not get too drunk while I dwell over the past. Don't want to bend your ear, but I need a shoulder to cry on. The woman smiled and brushed her bleached hair from her eye. Cry? What's wrong? It's just been a wild ride and things have gone south. Keith laughed. Worried I won't live to see tomorrow. I'll spare you the details. Thanks for sparing me. She reached out and touched his hand and let her fingers tap on his wrist. I'm sure it'll all work itself out. Nah, Keith said. Not this time. Billy found a pool table in the back room and went and put money down on the rail. He played pool with a round-headed man, bald and bearded, who would knock on the wood rail for good luck with a painful-sounding hard rap of the knuckles. His bone-gnarled and thin knuckles, fingers protruding like chicken feet flesh. Between games and out in the snow now, drifting, with the dark road stretching off in either direction, the man asked Billy where he was from. Great Lakes, said Billy. Not enough action up north? Something like that, Billy replied. We're on the run now, with mafiosos after us. Robbed the wrong guys. The man laughed. Well, good luck with that, friend. Probably will be tortured and murdered soon. Very sorry to hear that. Should we play another game? Sounds good, said Billy. The man played well but could not beat Billy, shaking his head and muttering to himself in the end. Billy thanked him for the game, and the crew went about on their way, but the man would always remember when he could not play pool well enough to beat the kid from the big city. On his way to Vegas, instead up at night in the quiet hours, head propped up on his pillow, or standing out on the porch with a smoke and dawn on the horizon, wondering of what might have been. Living on the run like Billy the pool hustler. And so from the bar spirits, until their heads nearly rested on the counter, with minds spinning and stomachs churning and burning, the trio went out of the now empty bar and onto the road again. Darby driving with the window down, cold air to keep him sharp, knowing the way but also currently a fatalist, glad for the road that led through the desert, now cast in the dawn half-light. The sun rose moored to the shrouded horizon that it dispelled with its full radiance. By the middle of the morning, Darby was driving up the desert back roads until he pulled up a long driveway to a compound-like house jutting out of the flatness of the desert. Handshaking and some hugs between Darby and his brother Gil, who wore a tattered robe and sunglasses and held a suspiciously diluted-looking glass of juice, and then everyone going off to some corner to crash, smoke and think, look out the windows towards the desert horizon, wondering what was to come in the days ahead. Then, out into the darkness of the desert night, a fire burning high. Billy and Keith sat with Gil in a half circle around the fire, all looking into the dancing flames, or up at the stars, but sometimes at Darby, who sat back further away, preferring the cool night air. From where he sat, he could barely feel the warmth of the fire. Had to kill that guy, said Keith. You killed a guy? Gil sat up in his chair and leaned in on his knees towards his brother, cigarette between his fingers. What for? Pedophile priest, said Billy. Gil sat back in his chair. Sorry to hear that. We went to the same school. Which priest? Becker. Not ringing a bell. Then again, what does? Well, he doesn't exist anymore. Your brother blew old Becker's brains all over the wall. Gross. Gil leaned back and lit his smoke. So what now? Now we wait and see if the psychopaths who we robbed figure out who we are and where we went and come to kill us. We. Gil leaned forward again. Nothing to do but peek out the blinds all day like paranoids. Can't go anywhere else. I wouldn't be able to cut the mustard on the run. More of a hold the fort type of guy. I may hold the fort somewhere else, though. So be it, said Billy. The plan is to wait and see what happens. Time to get paranoid and at least see the Reaper coming when he shows, said Gil. Not sure I'm up for the sudden finality of that outlook. In the early morning hours of the third night, Keith thought he had heard something and went and peeked out the kitchen blinds. He thought he saw headlights down the desolate road and went out to the porch, but there was only the darkness and the star stretch of endless sky overhead, and he did not sleep much that night, dozing off and then awake again before dawn. He dreamed that night of the desert sun setting with an orange haze over everything around, dancing time gleaming down over the shoulder of the heavens, his life and the time that was still there with him on the open road, all up and down as far as the eye could see open. He opened his eyes, sleeping on the couch. He could leave. It had passed his mind before, but now he felt it. He wanted to live. Tong and George knew Billy and Darby more. He could get out of here. Maybe his name never even comes up. Lay low somewhere and live off the land. Escape. Fuck loyalty, he thought. What else is there but life? Life and money. He sat up and looked at the clock. If he left, he would be out of the action. He didn't like the idea of that. Vegas was a place with plenty of action. If he left now, he could be on the strip by dawn. He could go play cards. Late-night cash games all over the city. He left the house under the cover of darkness, making his way past Billy sleeping on the couch in the living room, past the glow of the television light, and through the back hallway, slowly turning the lock and door handle and slipping out into the chill of the night. The cars in the desert landscape were wrapped in white moonlight. He breathed in the cold air and exhaled steam, slowly lifting up towards the moon in a ghost-like cloud. He went to his car and started the engine, and it stuttered on. He sat for a moment in the cold stillness of the car. After a few moments, he drove out of the driveway and turned onto the road. The headlights illuminated the lines on the road. He turned on the car radio, and an old song with an eerie twang and haunting voice sang something about the night and love, a memory brought back from a dream in the night. He could see the glow of Vegas now. He smoked a cigarette with the window down a crack, and with the sound of the night wind, he turned the radio up, and the drums rattled the car as the voice sang. Through these nights, these empty nights, through these sleepless nights, these nights, all I dream of is you. All I dream of is you.